Bless up, Hetep. Mic check. What's up, God family? Welcome back to episode 3 of Ageless Living, Creative Wellness and the Art of Alignment. Such a pleasure to be back with y'all today. Whatever day you are catching this on is a divine moment, is a divine day, and we give thanks for that. So let's start by collecting ourselves with a nice, beautiful breath. Wherever you may be, starting to notice that breath entering and exiting your body. Tuning in to how it activates the different parts of your instrument, the most important instrument we have. Maybe sending some of that breath into a particular part of your body that might just need some extra TLC in this moment. And let's take a big breath together, filling up down at the lower abdomen, letting that diaphragm push every internal organ, giving it a nice internal hug. Another sip of air in through the mouth. And side out. Yes, just like that. So, y'all, we are back again. It's been fun doing this. It's been fun doing the detox program. If you haven't joined, please tap in. Been doing roots activation, which includes a variety of different styles, including Kemetic Qigong, Kemetic Yoga, some Soma breath work, and so many intentional tools that I picked up, not only from these different modalities that I just listed, but sometimes energy just be flowing and moving through us, and we just have to be obedient. And that's what roots activation is about. In its core, it's just looking to explore a deeper level of body, mind, spirit awareness. When we talk about spirit, we're talking about breath. The Greek word spire is where we get spirit from. Spire was, or is, means to breathe or breath. So when we inspire, we're taking in that spirit. So, with that being said, let's tap in to our next 3 affirmations. So this is aligned with the law of Ma'at 3, 4, and 5. And these affirmations, once again, are codings for us to not only activate a deeper sense of awareness for ourselves, but for the planet. Let this be an affirmation that all of us can align with these principles, and as opposed to making them laws, recognizing that this is true technology that we can utilize to really create a better system, create a better society, create deeper connection between all of us. So the third affirmation states, I and I honor what belongs to another. I think it's important to acknowledge that it's not just about material. It's not just about possessions that are physical, but it could be ideas. It could be their labor, even their emotional state, energy. Number 5 states, I and I promote justice. And Ma'at is all about justice. So those are the 3 affirmations for today. I and I honor what belongs to another. I and I prioritize life. I and I promote justice. Moving on to our 3rd and 4th instruction from Ptahhotep. Why are we touching on Kemet like this? Why Ma'at, Rootsgod? Why are we doing all this? I guess let me briefly just break certain things down, right? When it comes down to Kemet, what we refer to as ancient Egypt, this was a society that had so many systems that were so powerful. Not only did it create one of the longest lasting civilizations, probably the longest lasting civilization, even with the wrong dating that, these archaeologists give it. But it also influenced and inspired so many of the greatest civilizations, including America, the United States. If you look on the back of the dollar bill, it tells you all you need to see. Got the Eye of Heru, got the Mer, the Temple of Ascension, right? The Merkut, pyramid, as they say. That eagle is indicative of the falcon, Heru. So there's so many different symbolic things, even when we look at the obelisk, which is the Tekken in Egypt, right? That obelisk when you think of the Washington Monument, for example. So this is a society and a culture that, whether you like it or not, has inspired so much of even what America is, what Greece, Rome, a lot of Indian culture, Tibetan culture. And we could chop it up about them stuff, throughout these episodes as we go forward. But I don't want to belabor that too much right now. I just basically want to touch on the fact that a lot of the reasons why I'm always going to refer to Kemet, and I'll refer to other places as well, but I refer to Kemet and I like to read these ancient texts because it gives such a great roadmap and a framework for where we could have gotten so much of the things that we really think are just oh yeah, this is regular, but people thousands of years ago was touching on these concepts. And we could talk about mental health once again and shadow work and just a sense of emotional regulation, and so much of that was built into what they were doing. So without further ado, I'm going to read these instructions. Instruction number 3 states, if you meet a disputant in action, one who is your equal, one who is on your level, you will overcome him by being silent while he is speaking evilly. There will be much talk among those who hear, and your name will be held in high regard among the greats. So to me, when I hear this, right, it's basically talking about silence in a dispute, especially when it comes down to somebody who may be on a equal platform than us, maybe a coworker, or maybe it's maybe if we talking sports, maybe a teammate on a football team or something, right? Whatever the case may be. When we operate in silence while we are in some sort of argument or some sort of disagreement, let's call it a disagreement, right? It allows people to sit with themselves and what they just said. So if you recognize that somebody is operating out of alignment and not necessarily speaking in a regulated, mindful manner, sometimes the best thing to do is to just be quiet. And even now, I'm starting to tell myself, just say nothing. Don't respond. Shut your mouth. Because there is so much power in silence. And it makes me think of music, right? Some of the hardest hitting songs, they just have silent moments built in. But even when we think about music, it's never just, no, there's the pockets in between that make it what it is. So find your pocket, you feel me? Be rhythmic when it comes down to it. Be mindful when it comes down to how we just converse with one another. Because truly, I feel like being argumentative has just become such a cultural norm as opposed to something that we just really want to do because it's innate to us as people. And maybe it is. Maybe there's a part of us that has to learn and grow through these things, right? So silence is one of the most powerful tools. Be mindful of the pride battles, trying to ego mirror one another, and definitely avoiding intellectual sparring, because what will happen is we'll try to convince people that we're smarter than them, or we're the smartest in the room, and really the best thing that will really gain respect is composure. Just like as I say composure, I'm thinking of a composer in music, and we were just talking about that silence. So just thinking about how we compose or conduct our conversations. I remember I had a teacher, it's making me think in high school, a choir teacher, shout out to Mr. Javier Diaz. He used to always say, no composing, right? Like when we were reading the sheet music, it's like the composer done composed it already. Now, I think that I'm just saying that as a little joke that has come into my mind, or a memory, if you will. But it's really making me think on a deeper level once again, the music of conversation, how we compose and how we conduct ourselves really says so much. It speaks volumes. It's our frequency, our vibration, right? And being able to have that composure in our conversations is a very powerful thing. Allow people's words to define them, and let your silence define you. Honor the voice and the space that others have or maybe want, right? Honor their voice and honor the space that they may desire, because sometimes people just need that space. And if we're constantly trying to take space, claim space, I think that, it shows where we may be in our maturity, in our journey. So when we talk about Ma'at, right, going back even to, if I'm bringing up these affirmations, like promoting justice, I feel like justice is in synergy, not in conflict. We can arise to such a deeper level of connection and understanding when we're not trying to constantly be combative with one another. So, yeah, that third instruction is definitely powerful. And it really leads right into the fourth one. So I'm going to read that real quick. So the fourth instruction states, if you meet a disputant in action who is a poor man and who is not your equal, do not attack him because he is weak. Leave him alone. He will confound himself. Do not answer him just so that you can relieve your own heart. Do not vent yourself against your opponent. Wretched is he who injures a poor man. If you ignore him, listeners will wish to do what you want. You will beat him through their reproof. It really goes right to the point of not attacking those who may possess less power or less authority than you, especially when it's just about soothing your own ego. I think true power lies in Ma'at, right? When we're talking about divine power. Of course, Isfet, chaos, has a place and has power too, right? But when we're talking about Ma'atic power, we're talking about compassion. When we're talking about Isfet, or cruel power, that's leading to injustice. Punching down just so you can feel more superior. any type of situation where you feel like you have to son somebody, you feel me? A lot of that is just like really ego driven, and it's not based in really teaching someone. If you're trying to go off of the idea of like, oh, let me teach you a lesson, as opposed to like truly from a loving place, then you're using your words, you're using your so-called righteousness as a form of abuse. And so we have to be very calculated with how we maneuver, because sometimes we can use the truth as a weapon, and truth is not necessarily supposed to be something to attack with. And the truth really can defend itself. I think it's something we mentioned in the last episode as well. So emotional intelligence is being able to refrain from responding, especially for ego relief. Reaction does not equate to righteousness. Prioritizing life includes emotional and social life. So that's why I feel like these 3 affirmations is so interesting. These 3 affirmations really do go with these 2 principles, these instructions of Ptahhotep. There's so much wisdom in ancient cultures, and I think the dogma of Judeo-Christian religion, even Islam, has really corrupted so many people into thinking that we can't explore these ancient traditions. But as you can see, a lot of the wisdom of these ancient traditions really set the framework for these other cultures. If you look at Kemet, it's a big part of not only the Bible and the Torah, but also the Quran. If you look at the way that they pray in Kemet and compare it to Islam, bowing their heads on the floor the way they do, there's hieroglyphs for that. When you look at even the idea of, the chanting, there's hieroglyphs on that. There's many more examples that we could just see similarities in the depictions. So we're not going to necessarily go too deep into that right now. But I do want to invite everybody to just be the genius that they are, find these uncommon connections, and recognize that these are real things that we not only need to just be like talking. It's not about debating. It's about embodying a certain level of divinity and knowing who had certain things and how we can apply that in modern times so that we are creating our wellness, right? Because creative wellness is not necessarily about, somebody else doing it for you. It's knowing that you are the designer. You are the programmer. Yes, you have the body, the hardware, and the mind, the software. But ultimately, you are the engineer. You are the programmer. You are the one that makes all of the circuits and the wires function. So therefore, there's a deeper level of responsibility that we must have when it comes to unlearning the things that are taking us out of our divine alignment and our assignment. And a lot of times it looks like culture. It looks like culture has created this filter that has put people in a box and has chained their consciousness from really being able to operate at their highest frequency. With that being said, giving thanks, this has been episode 3. Join me again for Ageless Living, Creative Wellness, and the Art of Alignment. If y'all want, tap into the detox program. We're doing it every day for the next, what are we on? I think we got 37 days left, y'all. So, giving thanks to the divine, living every day for the divine, seeing the divine in every eye that you come across, no matter how strange somebody may be to you, no matter how foreign their behaviors or even their language may be, recognizing the divine in everyone and everything. Hetep, Ashe, Aho, Amen.